Previously on Merkaat Manor, Flower gave birth to her third litter, and the Whiskers discovered one of the Lazuli's burrows, but were scared off when Magnus, one of the Lazuli gang, returned home unexpectedly. Flower is the dominant female of a 40-strong group of wild meerkats called the Whiskers. She wears a radio collar so that Cambridge University biologists can track her gang's movements across a 3-square-kilometre patch of the Kalahari Desert in South Africa. To the Whiskers meerkats, this is home, but it's a home like no other. They share their territory with deadly snakes, squadrons of aerial attackers, and vicious rival gangs. They depend on teamwork for their survival. Everyone has a job to do. There are sentries to look out for danger, babysitters to look after the kids, burrow renovators, and personal trainers to bring food for pups and teach them how to hunt. And all of this is being recorded 24 hours a day by our cameras, to reveal every detail of this little gang's amazing way of life. When you're a meerkat, the day begins early. In the Kalahari, the chores, like tidying up the burrow, are best dealt with before the day heats up. The neighbours are also up and about and are tucking into their breakfast. After a chilly night, a spot of sunning is an ideal way for the Whiskers to readjust the internal thermostat. With summer drawing to a close, morning temperatures rise slowly and the gang spend more time giving their tiny bodies a good warm through. In the depths of the burrow, it's still cool, and there are 4 little bodies heading towards the outside world for the first time. It's been 3 weeks since Flower gave birth to her latest litter, and the murmurings from below ground are catching the group's attention. Pookie and Kinkajou are quick to investigate. Zaphod promptly reminds them that he is the boss, and with a hip slam he clears the path, revealing a mountain at the den entrance that the first adventurous pup has to climb. At first, the new pup isn't quite sure about venturing into the outside world, but at a second glance, this little explorer is game to give it a go. Each small step is a giant leap for this pup, but he soon makes it to the top to meet his extended family. From the shadows of the burrow, the other 3 pups are bringing up the rear. They seem more reluctant to embrace the outside world. After 20 days living in total darkness, the glare of the Kalahari is blinding. With the sun in their eyes, the 3 little mountaineers are disoriented. They aren't sure which way is up. And on their little legs, climbing is proving to be more of a challenge than it was for Columbus. He's already on the summit, and after surveying his surroundings is keen to venture a little bit further from the burrow. The adults are heading off on today's forage, and although Columbus should stay at home with the babysitters, he's determined to follow them and get his first al fresco breakfast. Slowly but surely, the three stragglers make it safely up the mountain, just in time to see their brother disappearing into the distance. For Parsley, Basil and Rose, the day is going to be spent close to the burrow in the safe paws of the babysitters. Newly emerged pups usually stay within a few steps of the burrow entrance. That's as far as their little legs will take them. What they don't know is that there's a big world out there waiting to be discovered. Columbus is only 6 centimeters tall. That's the size of a human index finger, and he's dwarfed by virtually everything around him. But he's not afraid of a challenge. Columbus is unstoppable, and his quest for adventure is taking him into uncharted territory. For Columbus, it's all as easy as falling off a log. But he's got to be careful. Straying too far from the adults could be disastrous. Keeping up is quite a strain for his little legs. Falling behind and getting lost out here would mean certain death. He's totally reliant on the adults to look out for him because he's tiny, defenseless, and totally unaware of any danger. But Columbus has an appetite for adventure, and with Dad Zaphod checking that the coast is clear, it's time for the training wheels to come off. Lesson 1, watch out for craters. If he's going to fall at the first hurdle, then maybe he should have stayed at home. Back at the burrow, Parsley, Basil and Rose are relaxing with the babysitters. This is normal pup behaviour for the first few days they spend above ground. Once they've grown stronger, they'll venture out with the adults and learn how to hunt for food. But for now, the three are making the most of the ready supply of milk on tap, courtesy of their auntie, Mozart. There's no such pampering for Columbus, who, out in the bush, is discovering the big adventure playground beneath his paws. He's sticking close to his mum, Flower. She's dug up breakfast and Pookie's trying to steal her snack, but Flower's not to be messed with today. The longer Pookie sits it out, the more irritated Flower becomes. Round 1 to Pookie, who holds his ground. But if he thinks he's going to win this battle, he's got another thing coming. The boss is no slouch when it comes to a fight. She's bigger, stronger, and more determined. By round 2 of the bout, Pookie's a pushover. Flower's an expert wrestler and has him pinned down to teach him a lesson. In this cat-eat-cat world, the outcome is predictable. The big lesson Columbus has just learned is, don't mess with the boss. parsley, basil and rose haven't moved more than a few inches. But all this hanging out at the burrow seems to have exhausted them. And the babysitters are pretty worn out too. With no sign of danger, they all take some time for a cat nap. Pups this age spend as much time asleep as they do awake. For Columbus, resting isn't an option. No boulder will be left unturned. With so much to see and take in, Columbus is either getting forgetful or fatigue is getting the better of him. After his earlier lesson, stealing Mum's food is a foolhardy venture. This tiny opponent won't need to be wrestled to the ground. It's an easy steal for flour. Columbus has got some growing up to do. There's a lot to learn from the adults, but copying one favourite grown-up behaviour comes instinctively. It's been an exhausting expedition for this little explorer, and after a snooze in the shade, he manages to hitch a ride home from Uncle Shakespeare. By late evening, parsley, basil and rose are tucked up safely underground. Rather than be stuck in the dark with his siblings, Columbus takes some time to enjoy the evening sun in the company of the adults. After his big day out, a bit of pup pampering is just what he needs to revive those aching little limbs. The adults might be tired, but for Columbus, tomorrow can't come soon enough. It's a glorious new dawn at Merkaat Manor, and the foragers have set off early in the hunt for breakfast. This morning, they've got company. Insect-eating birds often follow meerkats to pick off small invertebrates that they dig up. The drongos following Mitch are the poachers of the bird world. They just sit and wait for a ready meal to be dug up and hop straight in to eat it. By the time Eucerian finally drags himself up from the burrow, breakfast for the Kalahari residents is in full swing, but Eucerian won't be eating today. It's his turn to babysit, so he'll be spending the day at home with just the pups for company. Columbus and the gang are staying in the safe confinement of the burrow today, but with Eucerian in charge, anything can happen. The Whiskers aren't having much luck foraging today. They've spent 3 weeks at the same burrow looking after the pups, and resources are low. They start to extend their search for food beyond the usual home range. They've boldly ventured into lazuli territory, plundering their neighbours' land for whatever tasty treats they can find. This is a risky venture, If they're caught, it could lead to trouble. Luckily, there's no sign of their rivals. The group have returned to the den that they recently tried to dig up but were chased from. It's a popular lazuli burrow, and the whiskers are anxious. With Shakespeare keeping lookout, the rest of the gang go in for a closer inspection. At first glance, it appears the rival gang isn't home, but when the whiskers were here last time, there were pups underground. Pookie is first to investigate and stealthily makes his way through the underground labyrinth. In the pitch dark, he'll need to rely on his keen sense of smell rather than sight to sniff out any other animals in the burrow. After a thorough inspection, Pookie hasn't been able to find the pups. The lazuli have moved burrows since their last encounter. It all looks a bit unstable now, so Pookie ends his search of the enemy barracks. In unfamiliar territory and with the threat of a lazuli return looming, Flower's instincts are to leave well alone, and she leads her group back to familiar terrain. Guarding Flower's new litter is an important task, and Eucerian's been known to be a bit of a loose cannon when it comes to looking after pups. In his anxiety about predators at a previous burrow, he started a den move that caused the death of one of Mozart's pups. He needs to be vigilant and keep an eye out for approaching predators, but he also needs to hold his nerve and not start any burrow moves while everyone else is away. Luckily for Eucerian, he's only got the squirrels to drive him nuts. The rest of the gang and their entourage have made it safely back to their own territory, but something has upset them. The group furiously begins mobbing, using spit and growl calls. It's not immediately clear who or what the predator is, but the sheer intensity of the whiskers' response shows that they mean business. Flower's first to get up close and personal. Whatever was here seems to have been a serious threat. Closer inspection reveals it's an owl pellet, a ball of undigestible fur and bones regurgitated after feeding. And by the look of it, this came from a big owl. The whiskers are going to have to be extra vigilant. Back at the babysitting burrow, it's plain sailing for Eucerian. But there are signs from below deck that the pups are up and about. Parsley, Basil and Rose are sticking together and enjoying a short stroll around the burrow complex. Even though they've spent 3 weeks underground, the numerous passages must seem like a maze. Columbus is bored by the wanderings of his siblings. With so much to discover at every turn and adult-free tunnels, the coast is clear for him to make an exploration of his own. But it won't be adult-free for long. Eucerian decides it's time to check up on his charges, if he can find them. Flower and the gang are making discoveries of their own. They've stumbled across a discarded oil barrel, a remnant of farming days. Upon closer inspection, it's obvious that it's not a threat, and the unfamiliar textures and noises prove rather interesting. The youngsters have realized its potential as a play area, making full use of its entrances in a game of hide and seek. Einstein thinks he's found the most ingenious place to hide. As the gang head off, he fails to notice that the game is over. After an eventful day, the foragers head for home. But they have one final obstacle. Blocking their path is the culprit behind the owl pellet. Dozing in a tree is an old enemy, a giant eagle owl. If the Whiskers are going to get home safely, they need to get past this predator without being spotted. Timing is crucial. It looks like this time they've got away with it. The whole gang have returned home without a hitch. It's been an adventurous day in their Kalahari playground, but they still have enough energy to catch this evening's performance. As the pups join the adults for a feed, Yossarian can finally clock off for the night. He's not interested in tonight's show. He's already seen today's matinee. Instead, he opts for an early night. As the ground squirrels begin their floral dance, Flower can rest assured that all her little gang are safe. But this is the Kalahari, and danger could be lurking just around the corner. Next time on Merkaat Manor, Shakespeare and the young pups get into serious trouble when the lazuli make a daring raid, while Tosca finally finds some company.